I thought I knew everything about my boyfriend's family. I thought I was safe, that nothing could ever shatter the trust I had built with them. But everything changed one ordinary afternoon. What happened next still feels like a painful dream I struggle to forget. My name is Ava, and I was 23 when my life turned upside down. I had been dating Alex for over a year. He was everything I had hoped for, kind, thoughtful, and always there when I needed him. His family had welcomed me warmly from the very first day. His mother, Diane, treated me like one of her own daughters. We would spend hours chatting and laughing together. Then there was Mr. Bennett, Alex's father. He seemed like the perfect father figure. Charming, polite, always opening doors, asking about my day, and making everyone feel comfortable. I trusted them both completely. To me, they had become family. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon, the kind where everything feels calm and predictable. Alex had gone out to run errands, and Diane was downstairs in the kitchen, humming softly as she prepared lunch. The house felt warm and familiar, so I decided to take a quick shower before Alex returned. I grabbed my towel and headed to the guest bathroom upstairs, the one I always used when staying over. The bathroom was small but cozy, with pale blue tiles and soft natural light filtering through the frosted window. As I closed the door, I noticed the lock didn't click properly no matter how many times I jiggled the knob. For a moment I hesitated. Should I go downstairs and mention it to Diane? But I brushed the thought aside. It's fine, I told myself. It's just a shower. No one will come in. I turned on the water and the room quickly filled with comforting steam. The warmth helped me relax as the gentle sound of water muffled everything else. I closed my eyes, letting the tension of the week melt away. Then I heard it, a faint creak so soft it could have been the house settling. My eyes snapped open. I stood perfectly still, listening. The sound came again, a low groan of wood shifting. My heart began to race. "Alex?" I called out, my voice shaky. No answer. The silence felt heavy. I turned off the water, wrapped the towel tightly around myself, and stepped toward the door. And then I saw him, standing in the doorway. Partially hidden by the steam was Mr. Bennett. His hand rested on the doorframe, and the expression on his face made my stomach drop. For a terrifying second, my mind refused to accept what I was seeing. This was the polite, kind man I had trusted for over a year. "Mr. Bennett," I whispered, my voice trembling. "What are you doing here?" I clutched the towel tighter, pressing myself against the cold tiles. He didn't speak at first. Instead, he took a slow step forward. The air in the small room grew heavier. Panic surged through me. "Please leave," I said, louder this time, my voice cracking with fear. But he didn't move. He simply closed the door behind him with a quiet, deliberate click. Terror gripped me. I felt trapped. In a desperate moment, I grabbed a bottle from the edge of the tub and threw it toward him. It struck his shoulder but barely slowed him. I screamed, yanking down the shower rod to create any kind of barrier. My bare feet slipped on the wet floor as I tried to push past him. His hand brushed my arm, sending a jolt of panic through me, but I twisted away and bolted out of the bathroom. I ran down the hallway, the towel barely holding, my wet feet slapping loudly against the floor. I didn't stop until I reached Alex's room. I slammed the door shut and locked it with shaking hands, then slid down to the floor. Tears streamed down my face as my whole body trembled. I felt violated, terrified, and utterly alone. I stayed locked in that room for what felt like hours, replaying the moment over and over. When I finally heard Alex's voice downstairs, relief and dread washed over me. I unlocked the door with trembling fingers. When he saw me, concern filled his face. "Ava, what's wrong?" I broke down in his arms, sobbing. It took several minutes before I could speak. "It was your dad," I whispered. "He came into the bathroom while I was showering." Alex stiffened. After a long silence, he pulled back, guilt written across his face. "I'm so sorry," he said, his voice cracking. "I should have told you." "Told me what?" My voice rose with confusion and pain. He looked away. "Mom warned me about him, that he had done things before. I didn't think he would ever do something like this to you." Those words shattered something deep inside me. He had known there was a risk and still let me stay in that house. The betrayal cut even deeper than the incident itself. Anger, sadness, and a profound sense of violation overwhelmed me. The people I had trusted most had failed me. That day, I packed my things and left. I couldn't stay. Alex tried calling, tried explaining, but I needed space. The following days passed in a blur of fear and questions. I started therapy to process the trauma, the anger, and the broken trust. It wasn't easy, but it helped me understand that none of it was my fault. I learned to trust my instincts again and to protect my own peace. Eventually, I told Alex I couldn't continue the relationship. The damage to our trust was too great. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, but it was the right one for me. Looking back, that painful experience became a turning point. It taught me never to ignore quiet warnings, to listen to my inner voice, and to value my own safety above everything else. To this day, I double-check every lock. It's a small habit, but it reminds me of my strength. The scars remain, but so does my resilience. I've moved forward, and if sharing my story helps even one person feel less alone or trust their instincts sooner, then some good has come from it. I stepped into the hallway on shaky legs. I could hear Alex's footsteps coming up the stairs, his voice calling out, "Ava, are you up here?" When he saw me, his face immediately shifted to deep concern. "What's wrong?" he asked, rushing toward me. I opened my mouth to speak, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, fresh tears streamed down my face. I broke down, sobbing into his chest as he held me tightly. It took several long minutes before I could find my voice. "It was your dad," I whispered, barely audible. "He came into the bathroom while I was showering." I felt Alex stiffen, his arms tightening around me. For a moment he said nothing, but I could sense the storm of emotions brewing inside him. Finally, he pulled back and looked me in the eyes. "Are you serious?" he asked, his voice low and tense. I nodded, tears still falling. Alex's reaction wasn't what I had expected. Instead of pure anger, there was guilt and something else I couldn't quite name. "I'm so sorry," he said, his voice cracking. I should have told you." Those words hit me like a heavy blow. "Told me what?" I asked, my voice rising with confusion and hurt. He hesitated, running a hand through his hair as he looked away. "Mom warned me about him," he admitted quietly. "She said he had done things before, but I didn't think he would ever do something like this to you." Hearing that shattered me. My legs felt weak, and I had to sit down on the edge of the bed to steady myself. "You knew?" I asked, my voice trembling. "You knew he was capable of this, and you still let me stay here?" Alex looked at me with deep regret. I didn't think it would happen," he said, his voice trailing off. His words offered no comfort. If anything, they made the betrayal cut even deeper. How could he have known and not warned me? How could he have put me in that situation? I felt a whirlwind of emotions I could barely untangle. Anger, sadness, betrayal, and a profound sense of violation. It wasn't just Mr. Bennett who had let me down. It was Alex. It was his entire family. The people I thought I could trust most had failed me in ways I never imagined. As I sat there staring at the man I loved, I wondered if I could ever look at him the same way again. That same day, I packed my things and left. I couldn't stay. Not after what had happened, and not after what he had told me. I didn't know where I was going or what I would do next, but I knew one thing for certain. I had to get out of there. The pain of betrayal from someone I loved, combined with the trauma of that afternoon, was too much to bear. Alex tried calling me, trying to apologize and explain, but I couldn't bring myself to answer. I needed space to think and to process everything. The first few days passed in a heavy blur. I replayed the events over and over, questioning how I could have missed any signs, and how I had trusted a family that was hiding something so serious. Eventually, I sought help. I started therapy to work through the fear, the anger, and the overwhelming sense of betrayal. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. Each session helped me unpack the pain and slowly rebuild my sense of self. I learned that what happened wasn't my fault, even though I had carried that heavy guilt for so long. Most importantly, I learned to trust my instincts again. As for Alex, we tried talking a few times, but the damage was too deep. The trust between us had been broken, and no matter how hard we tried, we couldn't repair it. Eventually, I told him I couldn't continue the relationship. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, but it was the right one for me. I had to put myself first. Looking back now, I see that painful experience as a turning point in my life. It taught me never to ignore my gut feelings, to pay attention to even the smallest warnings, and to protect my own peace no matter how difficult it might be. To this day, I double-check every lock before stepping into a bathroom. It's a small habit, but it gives me a sense of control, a quiet reminder that I am stronger now than I was then. The scars from that day remain, but so does